Y'all, it's your host, Kymmy Coco of Innovative Black Stations Connecting the Dots podcast. And I am glad to be here. We are 23 days away from Election Day. And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so make sure you check out the new Innovative Black Station Breast Cancer Awareness shirt.
The shirts are donation based, so it's like a
Okay.
It's a name your price donation.
Can you see yourself on here?
It's far.
Okay.
I see it though.
Yeah.
But it's so we're doing an initiative. It's a donation initiative. So basically, you name your price. If you donate $10 or more, you get a shirt.
Nice.
So, and then 10% of all proceeds will go towards the Susan G.
Anthony.
No, Coleman.
Oh, Coleman.
Greater Atlanta branch. So that's what we plan to do for the month. And I'm working on a flyer now.
Okay.
To get it out. To get the word.
Well, if you're wondering, here it is. I have on one. So, lots and lots and lots and lots to talk about because we haven't been here in a week or so. And I wanted to cover the debates. Did you guys check out the presidential debate? Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. The presidential debate was a shit show, to be honest with you. There was nothing discussed that would even make you think that we were watching a presidential debate. No policies were discussed. We didn't learn any more about either one of them than we knew before we started watching it. So it was kind of like a waste of time. What it did do, though, is just give you another example of the temperament or lack thereof of the man that's in the White House right now. He has no...
Not to cut you off.
Yes, Sonny.
It's been, 2-3 weeks?
Yeah.
How you been doing, Kim?
Good. Why?
I'm
like, am I giving you like I'm messed up vibes?
I ain't talked to her in a while.
Yeah, I'm good.
Checking your pulse with the world. You been all right?
Yes. Y'all been all right? I mean, compared to how we started off, I'm all right. Like, you can take some getting used to, right? Living in this new world that we live in. So, I guess I'm all right.
I know. I'm like, I don't think that we had much time to really process it.
So, but you guys have been traveling and stuff. See, I haven't done that yet.
Right.
I've been in Georgia ever since the beginning. Have you traveled? You have? See, I'm not ready. Have you flown? See what I'm saying? Everybody has flown. You flew, right? I got credits because I canceled so many trips from was it last, what's going on? Was that this year? From earlier this year, I canceled trips. I have credits. I got all type of time from work because they're not letting you carry over any more days than they usually would. You know what I'm saying? Usually, I think it's like a couple days you could carry over out of your PTO. You guys don't know nothing about that because you're all entrepreneurs and I'm still in corporate America. But out of that, you get to carry over some stuff. And they're not letting us carry any more over, so we still have to use our days. And I got all this time, I got credit to fly, and I'm just like, I'm not ready.
That's the smartest idea.
I gotta get out though, because like now my neighbors, we're all getting on each other's nerves, and it's like I keep seeing these same people and they eating the same food, and it's like, I need to change the scenery.
Just go on a road trip.
Me?
Just go on a road trip.
I don't. It's not that I'm scared to fly. It's just that I think I'm creeped out about being on an airplane with all those people.
On a road trip.
Yeah.
Just get in the car and drive.
You ain't a road trip person.
No. The last road trip I went on was when I moved here.
Oh wow.
Huh?
Oh wow.
Yeah. That was the last road trip I went on. I'm just not a riding type person. So the debate, and then we had the vice presidential debate, which gave us a little more information, not much more. I think Kamala did well.
Very impressive.
I think she did well. I think she held her own. I was kind of worried because I forgot exactly what she was talking about, but she started getting emotional, like she was about to cry. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that as a candidate. You can't be emotional.
Right, you can't show any emotion.
I mean, I'm not saying you can't show any emotion, but it was just that you can't be up there crying. Like, you can't be up there
I
But
mean,
I thought she did good. You know, she held her own.
I think she got emotional when she was talking about her mom and how, you know, how proud she would have been to see her daughter. It's hard not to get emotional about stuff like
It's
that.
understandable, but she held it together.
Yeah,
held it
she
together,
did.
But it's just like, man, because that's
This isn't
one thing,
working.
You know, people are judging these people, you know, from
Based
these
on
debates.
everything.
And then that's one that they already. She's a woman, so she's already at a disadvantage. She's a black woman, so she's already at a disadvantage. So it's like they already looking for a reason to counter out and to count, you know, that party out. So
And of course, after the debate, she was angry, she had an attitude, the stereotypical things that people say about women. Her facial expression, she didn't show any control because she was making faces. That's some of the comments that I saw coming from people that, you know, probably wouldn't like her anyway. Yeah. But it was good. It really was.
What was your biggest takeaway from both of them?
The thing that I didn't learn anything more really than what their policies are and what their agendas are. I kind of, you know, I didn't learn anything new. I'm surprised though that during either debate, did anyone mention the fact that this president is impeached?
I saw you tweet that, and it goes back to the conversation about. Remember, we was kind of at odds on that topic because I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, it's insignificant. So, but for you to bring it up and they don't like talk about it, and even after it's happened, like nobody has talked about that, and it's just like
It just blows my mind.
It went under investigation, but then it ended like after a month and a half.
Oh, they can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull this up.
Yeah, they didn't bring it up. Yeah. Yeah, say what you said.
But I mean, I guess what significance would that play? Like, that's my whole thing with it.
The fact that he was, you know, brought up on charges and proved. What were you saying?
Yeah, I'm saying like that goes back to my point. Like, what was the significance of being impeached?
But what did you say?
I was saying that he had been under investigation for a good month and a half, but after that, it's on. But they ended the investigation after about a month and a half.
So,
I just did a report with my daughter about it, actually. So
see, that's good.
little
That's
bit
good.
more
We
informed
have
about
a mother of you homeschooling.
we're doing both.
Okay, so
Doing
we
both.
can talk about that when we talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the fact that they never brought up that he was impeached, most of the things that he was charges were brought up on for his impeachment had to do with his campaign,
Right.
where the money came from. Also, he actually got impeached, and this is why I'm surprised that Joe Biden didn't bring this up during the debate.
Right.
He got impeached for trying to dig up dirt on him.
Joe Biden, he didn't get a chance to bring it up. He couldn't say shit.
True, that's true, that's true.
I
And
mean,
then
there's no talking with that. Like,
and then I
you know.
heard that they actually practiced interrupting him because, you know, when you interrupt people that stutter, it throws them off. And I thought that was messed up. That was messed up. But there's no hey, it's all's fair in love and war, right?
Boy.
But I was just surprised. Joe Biden, and it was crazy because Trump kept saying, what about his son? His son never had a job until he got it. Like, sir, you got impeached trying to dig up dirt on the situation. Nothing came out of it. I would just have loved to have heard Joe Biden bring that up, but he didn't. So, and then I guess maybe they would have brought it up because they were supposed to debate this week, but Joe Biden wanted to do it virtually because the guy has COVID.
Right.
And Trump was like, no. And of course, he doesn't want to do that because that style would leave it to him to have to like speak directly on specific issues and answer the question and not be cutting people off, you know, because when you're doing it virtually, like we've seen now on TV shows and how work and school has had to adjust, when it's on virtual, when it's on Zoom or something like that, like it give, you know, each
It's like
person,
intervals.
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he didn't want that style.
Right.
because that's not going to allow him to ignore everything and be an asshole.
Exactly. Well, downright. That's exactly what it boils down to. Now, do you think that he actually, everybody's these conspiracies that he doesn't actually have COVID?
No, I don't believe that, because him not having COVID would play into all the theories that he was bringing out before about how it's not that big of a deal, it's not that contagious, you'll be fine. So I think he really did get it. I really think he had it. I don't get where the conspiracies are going with that. Like, what would he gain? Because from being sick in the hospital.
I mean, I think that people are that
they always have something.
Of course, but
yeah, I get it.
A way to play it around in a defense,
I get it.
defense mode in a sense.
I personally think that he really did have it though.
The whole the conspiracy theories are ridiculous. Like,
Of course, they all are.
we see the fly on Pence's head.
That was funny as hell. That was funny as hell.
People were saying it's Planet. People were saying it's a robot.
I thought it was Planet.
Yeah.
For some reason, because it was just,
I can see it though too.
the fly was too still. Like, how did
You thought it was Planet,
I thought it
That's
was
what that's what
like a
people-
little baby robot, like a little baby remote control
That's what people
bug.
are literally saying.
But
Aw,
at the same
shit.
time,
Flipping for
at first
anything.
I thought it was from their side, and then I'm like, shit, maybe the Joe Biden side did it just to,
I don't think so.
You
but
would have thought somebody would have they got an
That fly was
earpiece
there for
like
a while.
a
That fly was there
while.
for a long
a
time.
long come on.
But
now.
like, I'm looking at you
That was
guys,
so
right?
comical.
And I can't, like, if there was a fly on your head because of the lighting and how everything is situated, I wouldn't be able to know. But if the camera is looking at y'all, the camera will pick that up. I voted already.
Good job.
Did y'all vote yet?
No.
Outside of like the
Are you gonna?
outside of the president race, like what are some of the
Senate?
what are some of the issues you saw about it that you feel like needs that awareness?
Hold on, let me show you. Because one of them was, and the way that the ballot is worded is so crazy. So you have to be careful. And if I were you, I would pull up a sample ballot. I'm trying to find. Okay, proposed constitutional amendment and statewide referendum questions. One of them was, oh gosh, it's so big. I'll find it and I'll read it to you. But there were a couple of issues on there that you have to really read the way it's worded and be very careful when you vote. That's kind of why I like absentee ballot voting, because you're not standing at the machine trying to read what it says, trying to understand it. You can sit at home, you Google the people, look up the issue. You know what I'm saying?
I was definitely a fan of that.
Yeah.
I definitely am absentee myself.
Yeah, there was a couple of things on there. So another thing is the Senate race has like 23 people. So be careful, because I saw where a couple of the machines, when they were testing the machines, it didn't carry over and of course the person that I would vote for is on the bottom, so it would cut those people off. So make sure that you see who you're looking for on the ballot, because I think it's in alphabetical order. So if, for example, if you would just happen to want to vote for Reverend Warnock, he's on the bottom. So make sure that when you do go to the machine that you're, turning the little wheel, going to all the, the bottom of the thing. So after the debate, what I was going to say is Trump tested positive for COVID. It comes to find out that he had brought the Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Coney, I always call her Coney Barrett to the Rose Garden, to have a little introduction ceremony, blah, 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 blah. And like 12 people there got COVID.
That's insane.
So the White House now is a hot spot because like over 24 people now tested positive for COVID. And it's because he won't implement any of the CDC measures. He won't wear a mask. He's like he was in the hospital for like maybe 24 hours. Exactly 1 week ago today, he was in the hospital. Oh, he told the Secret Service people to take him a ride around the block just to wave at folks. So you put all those people in the car. Like, this guy does not care.
It's absolutely disgusting.
This guy doesn't care. And if you think about it, we're like 8 months into this now, and we're no closer to a plan
whatsoever
than, even the NFL, right? The governor of Florida said that the Miami Dolphins could have a full capacity game if they wanted to. 65,000 people. Thank God that the NFL said no, because the governor and the president have no idea how many lives are putting in jeopardy. Then he had another thing yesterday with the Blacks for Trump and had them parading up and down the street together with no masks on. It's a complete disaster. And it's because of the lack of leadership. So Amy Coney Barrett, the woman that he is nominating for a seat on the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in this country. So, for example, you've seen things go to the Supreme Court because the lower courts have, kind of pushed them up. That's the ultimate decision maker. That's the highest court in the land. So all this controversy is surrounding this woman being nominated. You would think that she would recuse herself and say, you know what? People are getting COVID, when they, at my introduction ceremony, Ruth Bader Ginsburg kind of was like, she didn't want anyone nominated until after instead of her saying, I don't want to get into this mess and get nominated under these circumstances. Nope, she's like, let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep rolling with it. And that to me just says a lot about who she is as a person, to have a lifetime appointment, because if you're on the Supreme Court, you're on the Supreme Court till the day you die, i.e. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So like, she's relatively young. I think she's like in her 50s, maybe 40s. So forever, like this is your lifetime, your children's lifetime, into your grandchildren's lifetime, depending on who you are. This person is being nominated by Trump, an impeached president, who most of the people that he hired up until this day have either been prosecuted, indicted, fired, or quit. I don't even trust his judgment, let alone, forget him as a person. If we didn't know nothing about this guy, we know that his people that he came with are either in jail, indicted, under investigation, including himself, co-conspirator. How is it that he gets to still do all this stuff? I don't think that's right. And that speaks to the Democratic leadership. Like, what are y'all doing? I get the whole impeachment thing. It didn't work because you didn't have enough people to remove him. Impeachment really means nothing unless you're going to go ahead and remove. There's two parts. Impeachment, like, yeah, you did it. We proved you did it. But we're not going to remove you. We're going to give you another chance. They didn't remove him. Right. So that's why he's still there making more bad decisions and jeopardizing more lives.
That's wild. It's slowly, we just heard nothing else about it as soon as it
because it's like
slowly faded away.
Yeah. But he's telling his people that was fake. They did that because they don't like him. They've been trying to get rid of him since he got there, which is all true, but it's not because of what they're saying, like, oh, because he's such a great guy and they're just haters. It's because you're not doing a good job. You know what I mean? Yeah. It like has nothing. If you came from Mars on December 31st, New Year's Eve, the ball dropped, the Martians came here. They didn't have any bias at all. No prejudices, no nothing. And they just observed what was going on. Like, anybody would be like, dude, you're not handling this very well. Like, out of all the world, you're number one. Even though India is on our heels. India is on our heels. But as far as a developed, wealthy nation, we not doing that well as far as having this thing under control. So that's just what I think.
Yeah. I mean,
It'll be interesting to see what happens if he does get reelected. It'll be even more interesting to see what happens if he doesn't. Because his people are wildin'.
Wow.
I feel like we at the point to where his people are turning on him for real.
So I agree. His people are turning on him. His people like the people in DC people. But the people on the street people, they planned on kidnapping the governor of Michigan. Did y'all hear about that?
I'm reading it right now.
Yeah, right. Because I was trying to figure out, like, I'll break it down for me.
Okay, so here's the latest. And this is what I'm reading here. This is on CNN. Or what website are you on?
I'm on
Fox News? Oh,
Yeah.
I would love to know what they have to say.
I mean, I can read it.
Sure.
So let's see. It says the group plotted to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's her name.
Hatched their plan, which included firebombing police vehicles in the basement of a vacuum store in Grand Rapids, according to news reports. 6 men were arrested by the FBI on Wednesday and charged with attempting to kidnap the governor, while 7 others tied to the scheme were arrested and charged with state terrorism threats targeting law enforcement officers. Let's see. Last week, the President of the United States stood before the American people and refused to condemn white supremacists and hate groups like these two. Two in Michigan. Stand back and stand by, he told them.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but that was one of the things that happened in the presidential debate that just blew my... I mean, it didn't blow my mind.
I mean, feel like that kind of took over the...
So the fact that the moderator asked him to condemn white supremacy, which we've yet to hear him do, which the FBI has already said that white supremacists are one of the major threats this country is facing. All that, he wouldn't condemn them. Because remember, he said that they were good people on both sides in Charlottesville. And, you know, he's like kind of like giving them a okay to be out here doing the things that they're doing. He wouldn't say that the young, that young dude that killed the people, he wouldn't say anything bad about him.
You know, Wisconsin?
Yeah, what was his name in Kenosha?
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't condemn him. He considers him as helping them. So when they said to him, okay, well, now here's your chance. Condemn the white supremacists.
He could have did.
He said, what do you want me to say? What do you mean? He like, what? What you want me to say?
I wish Joe Biden wouldn't have said nothing. Because Joe Biden...
He was killing himself.
I'm just saying, he gave, like, the good old boys out. Like, he should just said nothing. Condemn white supremacy. And damn, they should have let him answer. But Joe Biden, the good old boys, I guess that's the same thing, but still, we should have let him answer that question.
He was saying the Proud Boys.
Proud Boys.
And same thing, if you ask me. But if he was saying, like, the Proud Boys, go ahead, like, condemn them. This is what the moderator was saying. We'll give you a chance right now to condemn them. And he was like, what? What do you want me to say? He was acting stupid, like he didn't know what he was talking about. He was like, tell them to stand back. Like, tell them to... He said, oh, sure, I will. Stand back and stand by. Like, what?
But I think we also have to realize, like, the connection between, like, kind of these militia groups, like the one arrested in Michigan, like the connection between them and law enforcement. Because over time, like, that bond has actually gotten stronger, and it's not really like they're a separate entity. Like, they work hand in hand with law enforcement and carry out a lot of, you know, these shootings and, you know, a lot of stuff that goes undetected.
Well, this is the thing. You embolden people like that when you have the rhetoric that you have, and when you say the things you say and you support the things you support, you're giving people the green light. These people have always existed. Like, when the 9 people got shot at the church in South Carolina, Charleston, that was under Obama.
Right.
So that person that killed them, they feel like they're helping the police. Like, they feel like they're a part of law enforcement. They feel like they have the right and the responsibility to do what they can to stop whatever they feel like they're stopping. Because, like, what are they trying to stop? The people were at church. Like, what are you trying to do? What message are you sending?
And I mean, it started with basically, like, you could look at Trayvon Martin and just the trend that's happened since then. Like,
him, George Zimmerman. He feels like
it's basically like they take on that persona. Like, okay, even you had a sheriff out there in Michigan, like, and his take was he was kind of sympathetic to the 13 that was arrested this week. He was kind of just like, okay, maybe they just wanted to, get the governor and perform a citizen's arrest. But if you actually look at like what actually took place, I mean, this thing was kind of, months in development, and they had an informant, of course, within their ranks, to kind of get an intel. But it was it was a detailed plot, they wanted to get it done before the election, and so when conflict, so that was basically terrorism.
Well, because there's no federal, there's like a real category for domestic terrorism. Everyone's like, well, why don't they call them terrorists? Because if they were this, if they were that, well, they've already categorized those, the feds. They don't have one for domestic terrorists yet. They need to have one. So 2 of the guys charged in the domestic terrorism plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer are former Marines. What do you know? Military records also confirm that Joseph Morrison and Daniel Harris served in the Corps. Morrison, 42, continued to serve with the reserve force until last week. The Marine said his exit from the reserves is unrelated to the events. We are aware of the circumstances surrounding the 2 individuals and will insist that the investigation in any way we can, the Marine Corps said. Sure. Okay.
It literally says one of the 6 men was a paid undercover FBI informant who communicated with the militia group online and in person. I mean,
wow.
It's plain as day.
6 people were charged federally with conspiracy to kidnap. 7 other people associated with the militia group, the Wolverine Watchmen, that's the name of them, were charged by the state. Harris was charged federally. State authorities charged Morrison. The individuals are in state custody, suspected to have attempted to identify the home address of a law enforcement officer in order to target them, made threats of violence. These people are crazy.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, over the months, too, like leading up to it, even leading up to their arrest, I mean, they were performing, training, they were training, getting intel. I mean, this was, months in the making. Like,
the arrest underlined warnings from law enforcement officials, Congress, and groups tracking extremism about the rising threat of extremist and far-right groups. Boogaloo supporters are among the arrested. So my thing is, I'm glad that they got caught, number one. It looks like there's still some, FBI officials or whatever doing their job, which is encouraging. I don't know, y'all. If this dude loses the election, what are these people going to do? I predict.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
I predict another situation like they had in Waco. I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm old enough to remember when all those people went out there and held themselves up in that house, and they were supposed to be militia people or whatever, and the FBI gave them a chance, until one day, boom. Like, I think they're going to try to, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think that they're going to have to go somewhere and try to just, like, form their own place, because they're not going to want to be under the new administration. I think that's what they'll do.
Well, I mean, I think just the way I look at it, like, they've been working with, they infiltrated law enforcement already, so they have certain connections within law enforcement. So I don't look at them as like a separate entity than from law enforcement itself at this point. I mean, I think these kind of militia groups and these things have kind of been dwelling over the years. Of course, you have a president now that emboldens them, but I feel like it's always been there, and I don't know, like, we'll just have to see, but we should definitely just, be prepared,
Yeah, definitely be prepared.
So what does being prepared look like to you guys? What does being prepared look like?
I mean, first and foremost, protection. That's something that came, like was eye opening for me this year. I'm like, gun, getting a gun, like getting my control carry and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Gun
like that's,
training, gun safety, just whatever, just
I mean
being
that's
prepared.
minor. That's minor, but
Yeah. And even just, apart from just direct violence, because, warfare is also can be political and, propagandized too. So just even being informed,
yeah,
even before it gets to that point, it's just being ready on, both fronts, like mentally and, if it comes to, like a physical or, hand-to-hand type of ordeal,
and we really need to stay educated on the legal system and our rights and whatnot because
Mm-hmm.
I mean you can kill him with that if in a sense obviously give or take, but I don't know though. That's a good question because it's really
Because
It's very scary.
what does that look like? Like, okay, we all get guns. Okay,
I
now
know,
we're all
that'll be
armed.
hell. That'll end up being
Like, we all have guns now. Okay, now what? Like, so now because remember, like, I don't know how many of you, and I always encourage people to do this. If you search your family history, or if you just go and you look at the history of, say, for example, Georgia, right? We know county. We know Cobb. We know Gwinnett. We know Fulton. We know all these counties. But back in the days, they were militia districts. So when they were trying to get rid of the Native Americans, and they were trying to protect their property because they just came in here and bogarted and took over, right? So in order for them to protect their property that they took from the Native Americans, they formed militias. So my militia district is 248. So here's the line. I could protect militia district 248, me and my family, me and my homies. Y'all coming over this weekend? What are we doing? You know what they used to do? Just like guard the property, shoot people, kill people. Keep control of the slaves, keep the Native Americans away. Like, that's what they did. They didn't get, like, police training and, go fill out an application. And right. They just took it upon themselves. That's why a lot of the states that were heavy into human trafficking, because if we're going to talk about what it is in today's language, wouldn't that be what slavery is?
No.
Human trafficking? No. What would it be? Like in today's words? Slavery, but the transportation of human bodies from across state lines, I guess it would be human trafficking for slavery.
I mean, when you look at kind of just like the generational
torture
aspect of it too.
Right.
I think that's what sets it apart.
Yeah.
But I mean, also too, like, even going back to, just gun training or, just being prepared itself, like, I think we have to recognize, like, these militia groups, they see the government as it stands now as kind of interfering with what they want to get done. Like, they just kind of, like you said, like during the creation of Georgia, during the early stages where this is my property, this is my territory, and I could do as I please. That's what they kind of want to get back to. Right. And so as they see it now, that's why they wanted to, kidnap the governor. It's like, okay, you got everything shut down, like, you're infringing on our rights.
Yeah.
Even as minor as it is, when you
like wearing a mask is really basically what
but
this
all
started from.
The mentality of, a white supremacist, I should do as I please. So they kind of see government now as being in the way of that. But that's not the final step. The final step is always, okay, well, what about, these black people? So that's kind of just the first step to it, but that's not really their end goal, if you see what I'm saying.
Yep. So that...
I feel like we should, we got a lot of things in place.
Yeah.
I just feel like we keep starting over. Like, I always say, like, the NAACP, it really shouldn't be a Black Lives Matter group. The NAACP everything should be funneled through that. I think we should just have, like, a mean, I guess it's good to have more than one organization, but I just feel like we should have a main organization instead of just everybody trying to do it on their own. And every so often now we making a new group.
Yeah.
We got these groups out now. Like I know I saw the people at Stone Mountain walking in, you know, the black military group or whatever. So we got these groups and we have people that come on the show that does the gun training and that do all the stuff that we're talking about. So I think we just really gotta do our due diligence and really just seek out those groups and use those groups and use the
Stay
people
connected, you know, stay on the same page.
Instead of starting from square one. Because I feel like we already got a foundation built. We just gotta kind of build on that foundation.
Yeah.
And yeah, keep it organized. So much focus on the Black Lives Matter.
There's other organizations.
Yeah, I mean, it's just given, at this point, it's literally just become a battle between.
So what do you guys think after we finally get to what is a Joe Biden victory? What do you think is going to change? Do you think he's going to shut down everything again?
I mean,
would you be mad if he did? Like, would you be mad if there was another shutdown? Would you? No, me neither.
Yeah,
no, I just think it's different, like where it stands now, because of course there is a political,
Yeah, attached to it. Now it's like
incentive, for I guess Democratic run states to shut down. Like of course, Georgia's open now, which is ran by Republican Brian Kemp. So that's why a lot of the things they want to implement are kind of like, okay, well we'll just wait till after the election because it's kind of, but I mean, it's as far as it's concerned, I'm just
I think they should. I know we were talking. I don't know if we were talking on camera before about how bad it is now here with COVID, but the second wave is supposed to come this fall because of school reopening and the flu season.
Right, flu season.
So if we have to just scale back, I don't want people to lose sight of the fact that there was a school closing last year before COVID because of the flu. A lot of states, including Georgia, a lot of cities, a lot of school districts in Georgia actually had to shut down because the flu was so out of control. So when if it happens again, I don't want people to be like, oh my God, they've never done this before. Yeah, they have. It got to the point where so many people were getting the flu.
And like now thinking about it, that probably wasn't the flu.
You don't. We won't know.
I'm saying like.
Yeah, because how quickly it spread. Like, it was 1 week in one school district. The next week, it was another school district, and they completely shut down because everybody was sick. And because they didn't have the tests for COVID, right? You don't know. What if that was COVID?
Yeah, that was before. That was in the fall, and we kind of found out at the top of the year. So.
It'll be interesting to see, but you know who will be here to talk about it? Us.
And I feel like we've all come into contact with it. I mean, or will.
I don't like to hear that because it makes me nervous. You don't understand the level of anxiety I had in the beginning of this all.
I remember hearing it.
OMG. I'm still like, look, I walk around with Lysol and hand sanitizer and masks and glasses. I'm like, whatever it takes. I don't want to come in contact with it. I don't want to deal with it. Everyone's like, oh, well, my immune system is great. Well, good for you.
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to take the chance. Like, I don't want to test it that way. Like, if you get it, I get it. You do what you got to do. So when Trump got it, he used Regeneron. You guys heard about that?
Of course, and it's crazy because during like the press conference, they're like, okay, we've been, in contact with the manufacturer, the company, so it's like with him or, with people of that stature, it's like a completely different type of healthcare they get, It's like they're working hand in hand with the company and monitoring his, so, but, yeah, of course they probably got some stash, for certain people.
So the thing that people are saying about that specific treatment is kind of hypocritical for these pro-life Republicans to use this treatment because this treatment, they use stem cells from aborted fetuses. Did y'all hear about that?
I think RZA was talking about that when he stopped by.
Yeah, we did talk
Yeah.
about that when Reza was here.
Right.
So, I wonder how that changes things, We'll see. We will see. Okay, in other news, we talked about how, speaking of the governor of Georgia, he met with Killer Mike and they discussed a lot of different topics. Since then, Kemp has gone to the barbershop himself. He was on Edgewood. Did y'all see the governor on Edgewood?
No, I didn't see it.
And since then, the reason why I brought all that up is because there was a new initiative, Greenwood Bank. It's a black bank. It was created by Bounce TV founder Ryan Glover, Killer Mike, and Andrew Young. So last week they unveiled this platform and they have already raised more than $3 million.
Okay, it's supposed to be like a black owned or
It's a black owned, it's an online bank.
online bank. Okay. Okay. Well, that's
So
good.
make sure you guys check that out.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, along with our political initiatives and knowing about what's going on and staying informed and voting and activism, finance and ownership is definitely our key.
Yeah, I think with any society, you got to have that economic aspect, as a base to kind of build or, kind of maintain everything else.
And
honestly.
we've spoken on previous episodes about how people of color are underbanked, meaning a lot of them don't have bank accounts. A lot of them still go to like check cashing places. A lot of people still don't have the ways and the means to do like digital e-commerce, right? So, so you've heard of Chime and all those online banks. Greenwood is a bank like that. It's a digital bank whose financial services, including checking and savings account, mobile deposits, and peer-to-peer transfers, are fulfilled almost entirely online. The bank offers a global ATM network, Apple and Android Pay services, and 2-day advances on paychecks for customers who sign up for direct deposit. Unlike its peers, however, Greenwood's target audience are Black and Latinx communities. Anyone else who wants to support Black-owned businesses. Glover says the bank will specialize in financing Black and Latinx entrepreneurs who typically have a harder time securing loans from mainstream commercial banks. Before it was destroyed nearly a century ago, Glover said a dollar spent in Tulsa's Greenwood district would circulate 36 times before leaving the community. So they named it after the community in Tulsa.
Got you.
It's live now. It's already live.
Mm-hmm. In 2017, 17% of Black Americans didn't have a bank account, compared to just 3% of white Americans. There are 23 minority-owned banks in the U.S. today. Those are brick and mortar institutions. So this one is an online bank. Glover founded Bounce TV in 2010 before it was sold to TV station owner EW Scripps in 2017, an acquisition deal that included 2 other networks for $292 million. Digital banking is the wave of the future. So you remember a few years ago when he encouraged people to bank Black, and I think there was a huge wave. You joined that.
I didn't. I tried to,
You tried to.
but it was Citizens Trust,
And they didn't have the
we could talk on.
right. Right.
Yeah.
But
it
I
was
mean, if we
Citizens Trust.
want, but I think the point is, like, if we want Black banks to have all the perks that the other banks have, we have to support them, right? If you want to have a digital platform, if you want them to have all this stuff, then we have to get involved, get on up,
And
get
I mean,
involved.
that's definitely like how can I put this? I guess it's like that's definitely like part of the change or shift that needs to take place. I know it's kind of new for some people because, like, honestly, when it's like we're not used to owning and controlling aspects of our society. So
It's gonna take some time, you think, to catch on.
As sad, as sad as it is, I mean.
But I mean, if you don't know anything else, say for example, a young person like you or younger than you, and you really don't necessarily have to rely on your own yet. Like, start off with one of these kind of bank accounts to kind of, that could be a good way to start. Like, I would definitely I would target the younger audience, the younger people with this.
Well, yeah, we definitely need to support though.
I think again, because I mean I get what you're saying. I agree what you're saying about like about the I guess not knowing, but I don't think that's really a good excuse because we do know. We just haven't been able to sustain. Like, cause I mean, we had Tulsa. Like we've had that black. You feel me? The black biz on. Like we've had experience with that. I just feel like we just keep starting over. I think that's the problem. I feel like we have to just stop starting over, build on a foundation. I don't know if it's pride to where we're not ready to just have this leader or just follow this person, but we're more than capable of doing it. I think we're more than capable of doing it. I think we're a lot further than a lot of people give us credit for, or that we give ourselves credit for.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like we gotta just build on the foundation that's already here, really.
Oh,
yeah, I think we should. Yeah, be careful. I remember when again, I'm probably aging myself, but do y'all remember the Rush card?
Russell Simmons.
I had that. I'm like, yeah, I'm banking black. I got a little baby fat debit card. I used to whip my little pink debit card out.
The pink,
So Russell Simmons ended up selling that to Green Dot for $147 million. And another thing about that was every transaction you made, they got $1 out of it. I mean, of course, you started this business. You got to make your money. You got to run it, and I got to pay some kind of way. But I just was kind of like, that's a lot.
I mean, I feel that. And too, like.
But you have to contribute somehow.
You gotta understand, these black businesses got to make money. Like, I feel like we always want to discount with our people, and that's why we can't grow. That's
right. So you should be willing to make a little bit more, do a little bit more. You're saying because you're doing.
Not necessarily. I just feel like you don't have to do more, but just respect what this company is asking for. Like respect. If this company is wanting this, that's signing up. You have the choice not to sign up. If you sign up, don't complain about it. Like if you want to support, respect it. I also feel like, I guess more to your point about like, I guess not having that educational. I think it's a lot to do with like marketing as well. Like, because remember when the Gucci situation happened, we all of a sudden see all these luxury black
brands. Yeah.
So it's there. I feel like everything is there.
You gotta look for it.
We gotta look for it. And I feel like we have some work to do, but I just feel like it's there. Though. I think the foundation is there. I think we just need to build on that foundation.
Did we ever talk about how Gucci was partnering up with Gucci Man? That was maybe like a year ago, maybe. Within the last year, though. I thought that was like their way of trying to make up for all the drama. Also, on the black financial front, Jpmorgan Chase makes $30 billion commitment to help close America's racial wealth gap. Jpmorgan Chase is making a $30 billion commitment. It says it will help address U.S. wealth inequality, especially in traditionally underserved Black and Latin communities. The Black Pledge is a combination of loans, investments, philanthropy over 5 years. It goes beyond what it would do in a normal course of business. The great bulk of Jpmorgan's dollar commitment is tied to housing. The bank says it will provide $14 billion in loans and investments for 100,000 affordable rental units and make $12 billion in mortgages it wouldn't do otherwise. Really? Systemic racism is a tragic part of the American history, says Jamie Dimon, CEO of Jpmorgan. Oh, really? Okay.
That's interesting.
While we speaking on housing, I saw something. I didn't read into it. I just kind of saw the headline, but it was like the headline said something about in New York, like 16,000 like apartments were
Are
unoccupied.
empty now.
And I heard, I don't know how true it is, but I heard it was an incentive to not have the apartments occupied because I guess it's a write off at the end of the year.
So the capital gains tax, the way it works is, say for example, if you own a property or even with stock, right? You own, say I bought stock in this company. I sell it. If I sell it for more than what I bought it for, I'm taxed on the gain. If I sell it for less, I get a tax break for the loss.
Okay.
So that's what happens with loss, which for very wealthy people, they know how to finagle their thing. Like that's what they're accusing Trump of doing. They're saying he paid $750 in income tax in like the last 10 years. Because some kind of a way you can finagle your assets and show that you've lost so much money that you don't have to pay anything. That's just business. Even bankruptcy. Bankruptcy has its place, right? You file bankruptcy, depending on it's 11, 13, whatever, and you say, hey, I just don't have the money. You go to the court, and the court says, okay, after this amount of years, you're out of it, but right now pay this, this, and this, and we'll throw out the rest of your debt. All of that stuff has a place in, a place and a time for people that have money. That's how rich people stay rich, right? Because they know the tax laws, or they finagle the tax laws, or whatever they do. But
That's just the rules. I mean, any corporation, look at
that's just
Amazon
how.
and Apple. I mean, they don't pay taxes. I mean, So, but even going back to New York, you said what, 16,000?
16,000 empty rental apartments in Manhattan, triple.
Right, and I think that I remember hearing, I believe when Bloomberg said he wanted to make New York City a luxury item.
Well, that's what it is, and
Right.
the reason why 16,000 apartments are empty is because COVID came. And now I don't need to pay $5,000 a month to live in this apartment because my job is on Wall Street. I could go live in Jersey and pay a fraction of that and work from home. I don't have to live in Manhattan anymore. So that's the thing that you're facing in New York, because people live in New York because everything is there. All your, you work there, you live there. You don't have to keep getting on the subway, getting COVID. Because, New York was the hot spot. That's another thing people would scare their asses off, because at one point, people were dropping dead in New York, like 1,000 people a day.
Guys, it was crazy.
So, the reason why it was so easily spread in New York is because everybody lives on top of each other. Everybody's on the same elevator. Everybody's on the same train. Everybody's pushing the same buttons. There's one door to get into this one building where there's 20 apartments. And people were like, I don't want to live like that anymore, because God forbid COVID-20 comes and then I'm still going through this. I don't want to live around all these people anymore. I want to take this $5,000 a month, move to Jersey, move to Long Island, move to Connecticut. So Manhattan, what's going to happen? The rents are going to go down. They're going to try to reoccupy Manhattan, and people are just not going to be willing to pay. It was ridiculous how much money it costed to live in Manhattan. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
So, but if they don't, and if they choose not to, then they'll have the scenario where you said, where it just becomes this luxury island where only wealthy people live, which it is, to me, it is already.
That's what they're really pushing for. Like, when you talk about, you have a lot of people even here, the Carolinas, Florida, like a lot of people are moving from New York. Of course,
of course.
Black people or, people of color just in general. So I think that kind of coincides with gentrification as well, because even after all
financial
this clears,
gentrification,
right? Even after all this clears, that may just get them closer to like what they look for. Like you said, like the wealthy people that go there, they kind of want a better experience, if you see what I'm saying. And I think that's kind of what they're pushing for. Like, okay, this is like you go to a Chanel store, Louis, or, you know what I'm saying, like a high fashion
And all
store.
those stores are gonna end up moving too, right?
But I'm just using that as an analogy. Like you only see like a certain amount of people in there, or you gotta have an appointment. Da, da, da. I think that's kind of what they want to make New York. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that high luxury type of real estate, to where it's like everybody can't go here. So I just think that's what they're pushing for.
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
Basically, like Manhattan everywhere.
Right.
That's what they're gonna do in Atlanta.
Think so?
They get a lot of. I mean, they putting a lot of high rises up down here. I've been seeing them go up like.
Even on Northside Drive, I saw.
Northside Drive. There's some right here by the stadium. Shoot out our way by the in Cobb by the baseball stadium. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I think we talked about everything we were gonna talk about, didn't we?
You did mention something about schooling.
Okay, so now that school is back, we still have a lot of teachers. Teachers have been going on strike. They've been,
Which I mean,
so I was just going to ask, because you are, and usually we don't have parents of school-age children here for me to ask your expert opinion. How do you think it's going? Like, what do you think? Are you seeing more people staying home? Or are you seeing more people ready to go back to school?
definitely. I mean, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio too, so it's a smaller area, but for the most part, everybody's still, they're going for virtual. My daughters, I mean, they do half and half basically. They attend 3 days and then they do virtual 2 days. It's a very small classroom setting though. Obviously they have, they take all the precautions, sanitizing and whatnot, but I mean, at this point, I just try to stay as positive as possible with with my daughters.
Yeah. How are they mentally though? Are they handling work from schooling from home?
We try and talk and whatnot. They're just kind of like they want coronavirus to disappear. They want things to go back to normal, which is obviously, I mean, it's hard to handle for them, But yeah, I mean, some of their friends, they literally have not talked to whatsoever since March. They got sent home one day, and the next thing I don't have any communication with some of these parents and whatnot. But I think they're handling it pretty well. I think the kids, they just, trying to live a normal life. And
I applaud all the parents for what you guys are doing. God bless you, because let me tell you.
Yeah, it's
throw
a lot.
The whole kid out the window. Like, I don't know what I would do.
When I saw those memes,
I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do.
They had Caillou or whatever, and it's like, the answer is, like, I'm like, that was me, especially when it first hit. I'm like, Lord, I did not even,
Johnny
like.
has 5 fucking.
Right. Yes, like, that was straight up. I'm like, what is
yes,
wrong? Like,
that's me. That's me. That's me.
Hell
That
yeah.
was how my mom was back in the day.
Look, I'm like, how do you not know this? My daughter, though, my youngest, she's having a little bit of behavioral problems, though, and I'm not sure if it's
At home?
while
she goes
she's in
back.
school. Yeah, while she's in school, she's doing a lot of she's 7. She does a lot of she's been doing a lot of attention-seeking type of
Right.
making scenes and all
You
this.
think it's stress?
I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with it. I mean, everything is just like that. It's amplified right now. They nothing's normal. They have to stay in one room the whole day.
How
they're
were they
all
with
separate.
wearing masks?
I mean, they're wearing them. I don't see them in the classroom. So as far as I know, the teachers are saying they're doing pretty well with it. But
So there's no, how we have a national database to keep up with COVID? There's no national database to keep up with COVID in schools. So we're kind of relying on the honor system, and that honor system is what got us in the situation we're in right now. And
yeah,
so
see, and
I think that we should still be like telling our kids to wear their masks, wash their hands. Like, you still got to tell them to be careful. It's crazy.
it is, because they rely on us. If your child has 2 or more of these symptoms, fever, cough, anything like that, please keep your child at home. But it's, how trustworthy is that with parents, But
On the ballot in November, go to what's the name of this thing right here? Elections, voting. Google your county and see, and you can view a sample ballot. One of the things that I was supposed to be looking up, and I've been looking, and everything it's different.
Don't they send them in the mail? Don't they supposed to send them in the mail though?
So
Yeah,
you can apply for an absentee ballot, and they send it to you, and you send it back.
No. Don't they send like just
A sample
a
ballot.
sample ballot in the mail before the election?
I don't
read,
know.
So I got something in the mail, and I think I read that they said they was gonna send one out or something like that.
I don't know. I'm kind of still trying to figure out how things go in Georgia. I know I requested an absentee ballot back when we had the special election, and I just told them then that I wanted one for this election, so that I knew I wouldn't want to go to vote. So I got my absentee ballot. I sent it back, and you can look online and see where it was accepted.
Okay.
I took it to the ballot box. Like, everybody has their own plan. Like, have a plan. Either you're gonna, right now your options are narrowing down where you're gonna end up either just early voting or voting on election day. Those are gonna be your two options soon. Because if you're gonna do an absentee ballot, there's a possibility that it can be a mistake on there. So you have to give them the chance to get it and send it back to you and get it back to them on time. So the window of opportunity to do that is kind of narrowing down, because I'm sure it's going to be slowed down the more people that.
Closer it gets.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I'm gonna go back. I think the last day to request the ballot is absentee ballot request deadline is October 30th.
Yeah. Mail-in
Absentee.
request deadline is October 30th,
Absentee ballot return deadline
November 3rd.
at 7 p.m. And then
Unless
early
they
voting-
extend it.
Early voting starts Monday, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Early voting, y'all. Early voting. By the time you see this, early voting will have started. Make sure you vote early, because ain't nobody got time for all those lines and
Right.
stuff.
was Kanye on your ballot?
No.
I done saw pictures with his name on the ballot. I didn't know if it was real or not.
What state? Let's see what states he's on the ballot for. Let's see. Kanye West will not appear on the presidential ballot in 9 states.
I think he was on like the vice
He
presidential
will
ballot
appear on
somewhere.
the ballot in Idaho. He's going to appear on the ballot in Idaho, Minnesota, and Tennessee. Utah, Missouri, Wyoming, Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin, West Virginia, and Montana. So he's not on my state. And it wouldn't matter if he was, because I damn sure wouldn't be poking that box. What else is going on? Oh, you have a new suite. If you want to get your hair cut, you have your own suite now. Are you excited? Tell them, get the mic. Tell them where it's at.
So it's called Candyland Cuts,
Candyland Cuts.
and it's right next to Piedmont Park in Atlanta.
Ooh,
and
good
I'm
location.
so excited. Bright colors to match bright vibes. And I'm so excited.
Yes. So Candyland Cuts.
Who we talking to? People don't even know. She been quiet the whole day.
I know, right? She ain't said nothing.
I'm Queen.
Tell
Very
them
nice
where
to
your
meet
Instagram is so
everybody.
they could go get Candyland Cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Instagram is Candyland Cuts, and Candy is Kandi, and Cuts is Kutz. And my Instagram is Queen in Candyland, and Queen is Kween.
And you gotta tell them about them facials. I've been looking at them facials like, man, I need to get in there. The steam facials.
Yes.
You know,
It's a vibe. It's a
Yeah.
vibe. Got facials going. You can choose your facial flavor, whatever scent you want. Get in
What?
your vibe. It's something completely new to a barber experience, and so I'm very thankful.
So if you're in Atlanta, check it out. That's a dope location. That is dead smack in the middle of Atlanta, really. Midtown. That's dope. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, love.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna keep trying to get more people to come and to kick it with us. So if you guys are in the area, hit us up and we will invite you over. And we need to get some more people in here to talk, some more experts. So if you guys know anyone that you want to see on here or want us to talk to, tag them and then tag us and we will email them. That's a good idea, right?
Yes.
All right, my grown-ass woman daughter is calling me now. I don't know what she wants, but I will check with you guys online. Make sure you follow us at CTD_ATL. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, tag Innovative Black Station on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. And again, make sure you check out these Innovative Black breast cancer awareness shirts and donate. 10% of the proceeds are going to Susan B. Coleman. I don't know why I want to call her Anthony. Breast cancer research. So, peace, guys. We'll see you next week.